What's up, boys? It's Flash, back with some more charts and another video. It's Monday, November 11th, about 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I know I haven't been on a regular cadence. I think I have a bit of a channel update in terms of the asset classes that I'm interested in. And, Bitcoin kind of, or should I say, uranium kind of opened my eyes to the power of ratios and helped me have conviction in the uranium trade, and I still am convicted about it. But I will say, like the recent moves in the general markets, equities, and Bitcoin specifically, I think have kind of modified my approach, my thought process. Whereas I've been trying to, realize that URA, for example, is a little bit undervalued, right, compared to where we think it's going in the future. And I still think it is today. And what I mean undervalued, I mean, the ratios and the charts looks like price is going to continue upwards, going to continue appreciating in price. So, we look at CCJ, for example, I have some drawings on here, looks pretty good up and to the right, right? We can look at, what I also want to do is let's continue to utilize the ratios, right? So let's look at CCJ measured in gold, because we want to be outperforming gold for the most part. Like, yes, outperforming the asset, measured in US dollars, appreciating US dollars is great, but you really want to ensure that you're outperforming gold as well. So CCJ looks good against gold. And here's what I'm getting at. So let's look at BTC USD, the price of Bitcoin. Let's ignore the drawings I have on here. Like, let's look at BLX. I had this arc on here. I was kind of in favor of this rolling over, coming to the downside, right? You had your Ichimoku cloud. We were under it for a little bit. Your SMA was kind of flatlining here a bit, right? But look at this. I mean, it broke out of this presumed arc pattern, right? Okay, so let's look at BTC USD measured in gold. What does that chart look like? And then here's my point. Like, Bitcoin it's such a fast horse, and when we think about Bitcoin versus gold, there's that digital world, and then there's the hard money world. Gold's been around for years, right? Years and years, hundreds of years. It's been, the safe haven asset for, in human existence. And then, you have Bitcoin come out in 2011, 2012, and look what it's done. I mean, how can I be bearish on something that looks like this, right? And especially when we're in this channel, again, we broke out of that arc. This is measured in gold. Like, this is just relentless, right? I think Bitcoin's kind of changed the game for me, where, maybe instead of picking uranium tickers that still look good, and they'll remain to look good, I think, it's like, man, Bitcoin is the asset that we want to be looking at. We want to be comparing assets to Bitcoin in addition to gold. But because of this chart, Bitcoin is outperforming gold at an aggressive rate. We want to find, okay, yes, it's volatile. It's tough to stomach sometimes, sure, but like the upside here is just incredible. And it's like, where do you think this is heading in the next 5 or 10 years? Like, the whole thing about AI and like the rate of acceleration feels like it is accelerating, right? And I think Bitcoin is going to be more and more a part of that story, just based on the price chart, not even taking into consideration any other fundamentals, but just the price chart is telling us this, right? And then, like, we look at MicroStrategy, and this is going to have a lot of lines on it. So I'm sorry, we'll go to the line chart for now. But like, if you think about what MicroStrategy is doing, they're holding an aggressive amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They can issue debt. Listen to their earnings call. Michael Saylor talks through everything in great detail. And it's like, ever since Bitcoin was created, it's accrued, 20% annually, year over year. Yes, it has its big cycles, it goes up and down. And generally, if we think that's going to continue, and that Bitcoin priced in gold chart seems to me that it's going to continue, like Bitcoin is only going to continue to go up from here. So what MicroStrategy is doing is really, really interesting, and they're creating leverage against that asset that is appreciating 20% year over year. And it looks like it's going to be doing so for the foreseeable future. So MicroStrategy is very, very interesting to me. And then to put the icing on the cake, you measure MicroStrategy in Bitcoin, and you get this, like, this is the chart that I thought that gold was going to do to Bitcoin, right? It was kind of up at the top end of this arc. Is it going to roll over? Is it not? But like MicroStrategy is bottoming out, and who knows if these arcs are valid or not, but we have, it's kind of got this yellow line defined base that it's breaking out of. You throw the 3-year moving average on that, it's curling up right at the edge of this arc, right in this blue channel. Ichimoku cloud, it's above the Ichimoku cloud. And then another one I've been doing is this slim ribbon, which can kind of give us some, here I'll pull it up on the daily, you'll be able to see, like, it gives you maybe some green dots for confident entry, yellow, red to get out. And it all has to do with these moving averages, I think. That's beside the point. Just MicroStrategy measured in Bitcoin is like, holy cow. Just when you kind of relook at all these charts, and I'm kind of changing my viewpoint again, maybe, I'll still cover uranium, but I think channel update wise, it's like, why am I not going to cover Bitcoin? Why am I not going to cover MicroStrategy, right? Because there's some really, really cool ways to play MicroStrategy. And this isn't for the faint of heart, but like we pull up MSTU. It's a 2x long MicroStrategy ETF. So it mimics 2x of whatever the price does on a given day, right? So MicroStrategy goes up 10%, MSTU generally goes up 20%. So I haven't been posting uranium content because I have been in the MicroStrategy rabbit hole. And you have a chart MSTU, which looks like this. And since its inception back in September of 2024, it's up 375% in 55 days. And so I'm looking for the horse that can get me there with minimal risk, and quickly. I understand uranium could 10x over the next 10 years, but MSTU just did like a 3x in 55 days, and I think there's still more upside. And so what is my point? My point is, I think I'm going to start covering, crypto and MicroStrategy more frequently on this channel, because I think it's the fastest horse, and it's an incredible horse in the race. If you listen to Michael Saylor's earnings call and fast forward a little bit, he talks about, the money supply. It's inflated away at like 7 or 8% every year. A diversified portfolio in equities, in a mutual fund is not going to beat that horse. It's not going to beat your purchasing power being eroded over the years, right? So you want to look for things like big tech, for example, NVIDIA, Google, Apple. Those things, generally will outperform the S&P 500. So that's a good bet. And then, you mix in some Bitcoin, you mix in MicroStrategy. I'm just looking to be in the horse that can get me out of this rat race. And I want to be able to sleep at night. So, MSTU, yes, it's powerful, but man, if it has a couple down days in a row, it's not great. So I don't know. You got to look at the charts. You got to look at channels and trust the process, right? But a little bit of update for you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. I will see you guys in the next video.